Imagine a space for South Asian women where stories are not just told, but actually felt. This is ROOH, Rising Over Obstacles and Healing, brought to you by Jyoti and Monica, two friends who set out to carve a little space and make a difference by sharing stories and fostering healing and strength within our community. We invite you to listen and reflect, finding your own path one story at a time. And just for sticking around, there's a golden biscuit at the end of each episode. Welcome to ROOH. Today, we're talking about a topic that many South Asians can relate to. It's the tension between fulfilling a dream and choosing a path that's considered stable and secure. My guest's story is a testament to the idea that it's never too late to reclaim your narrative. For 30 years, she followed a career path that was deemed respectable and safe, silencing the quiet dream she held since she was a little girl, to work in law enforcement. But at the age of 48, with the odds seemingly stacked against her, she made the courageous decision to listen to her heart. She embarked on a very grueling physical journey to pass the exam that stood between her and her lifelong calling. Her story isn't just about a career change. It's about courage, self-worth, and proving that your dreams don't have an expiration date. Please join me in welcoming our incredible guest, Parveen. Welcome to the show, Parveen.
Hi, Jyoti. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad to get this chance to finally speak with you and hear all about your journey. So let's get started right from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My family and we were immigrants from Punjab, India. We came to Canada in the 70s, and I was about a year and a half, and I'm the youngest of three girls. So there was a lot of hardships financially. My parents had a couple of jobs. We would go strawberry picking. And at that time in Canada, there weren't very many immigrants. So the upbringing was primarily surrounded by a white community.
Yeah, because it's not like, Vancouver, Delta, Surrey isn't what it used to be back then, right?
No. We had first moved to Vancouver, but then we moved to North Delta, great community. In my graduating class, there was probably about only 10 to 15 ethnic students.
Oh, wow.
So it's very different than it is now. It's completely the opposite. My upbringing was very different than if you would compare, for example, my 17-year-old son.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I think I was looking it up, and now South Asians are the third largest ethnic group, I think, in the area. So.
Yes. Very little pockets of obviously Surrey. Definitely, it's visible. Of course, they call us visible minorities. It is completely visible. I think I would call it visible majority now, but
No, you're right. You're right.
Just to give you an idea, a lot of people can relate. There was a lot of racism and nothing was really hidden. So, I'd be called a Hindu or a Paki or, you smell like curry. So I just remember coming home from school and yelling at my mom, why did you leave my bedroom door open? All the smell of curry is going into my closet.
Yeah.
I guess my focus really, growing up as a child was, how can I be more white? How can I assimilate into community? How can I be like the rest of my friends? Being Indian was not an option because it just was not accepted.
Well, you had to fit in. So
I had to fit in. Like any teenager wants to fit in, right?
Exactly. I can certainly relate because I certainly felt the same way, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. So when did this idea of working in law enforcement take root in your mind?
I would say in my early 20s, just kind of interesting situations would come up, I would see a shoplifter and, oh my God, I have to go report it and I have to stop it. I can't let this happen. Or I remember walking down the street with my dog and in broad daylight, I would see a man with a crowbar on the side of a house trying to break in to the basement window.
Oh my
and
gosh.
yes, and I see the resident, coming to the front window looking because she hears a noise, and I'm alerting her that I'm going to call the police, stay put, don't come out. And the
Mm-hmm.
police would arrive and I'd help them.
Okay. Yeah.
So there was always things coming up that obviously now I do believe, the universe sends messages because I
Yeah.
think I
Mm-hmm.
was already manifesting it, because it was
Yeah.
in me.
It was like a natural inclination, basically. You were noticing these things happening because I feel like I'm
Exactly.
just so oblivious that, I wouldn't even.
Yeah, and that happens
Mm-hmm.
a lot. Some people would just generally probably just walk by, but no, I had to do
Yeah.
something. I had to take action. I would even research and look, okay, oh, what, Canada borders, what kind of jobs do they have, whatever. But I wouldn't take action. I would just look into it, right?
Mm-hmm. And the reason you didn't take action is because you felt like this is not something your parents would approve of?
Well, at that point, I didn't really know, but I did one day. Okay. My mom was more, she worked in fisheries, and my dad he's a retired drafting engineer. So he was really into pursuing your career. What do you want to do? So
Mm-hmm.
when I told him I wanted to get into law enforcement, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of South Asians can relate to this, immigrant parents don't take it seriously. They laugh. They laugh
Oh,
at
yeah.
you. So
Yeah. When they laugh, you know that they think it's an absurd idea.
exactly. They're like, haha, yeah, sure. Anyways,
Yeah.
what do you really want to do? And
Mm-hmm.
so with those comments, it was kind of, back then growing up, like it's different in today's world for kids. You don't speak
Mm-hmm.
up as much as today's kids would, right? There's a lot of,
Yeah. Yeah.
shyness and fear. And so my dad's like, oh, you need to apply to government, big companies. It was about a
Mm-hmm.
big company government job. So of course the telephone company, so forth. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I got in after my education. And
Mm-hmm.
I worked in an office, a lot of different jobs, ended up in project management for
Mm-hmm.
30 years.
Wow. So you went all in and you gave up your dream and
Hmm.
you did this for 30 years.
Yes.
How was that like?
It was hard. It was hard. I had some jobs, I liked, but didn't last very long.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt,
Do you feel like something was missing?
yeah, I didn't feel any fulfillment. I was in the office. I never wanted to be inside.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be outside, always.
Yeah.
I just remember even growing up, like it would be snowing out, and my uncle would be like, "Why is the Parween leaving the door open?"
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It was like I hated
You wanted
working
to be
inside.
outside.
Yes, yes.
It seems like you kind of liked the thrill of, catching someone in the act of criminality, I guess,
Yes,
and
but it wasn't even the thrill. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have the thrill of catching a bad guy, but it
yeah.
was more also
Mm-hmm.
preventing the crime, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And trying to change society, and this is
Yeah.
not right, kind of, educating. So, I would,
Mm-hmm.
even as I was working, I'd say, okay, I'm going to take some courses. So I'd take some criminology courses as well. And
Just on the side.
yes, yes, still didn't pursue the career, but I just took the courses.
Mm-hmm. And then when did you decide that this has been going on long enough and I really need to make my dream a reality?
Sometimes when you go through changes in your life,
Mm-hmm.
you also sometimes think, what do I have to lose? Let me just make a complete change. So I
Yeah.
was going through some changes in my life, and my son Ashan was older, so he's more independent. And
Mm-hmm.
I was so tired of moving from job to job, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just walking, and I noticed in Vancouver, it's the South Vancouver Community Policing Center,
Mm-hmm.
and it said, needs volunteers. So I walked in.
Okay.
And before you know it, like I signed up as a volunteer, just helping with
Oh.
crime prevention around the community,
Mm-hmm.
attending events, school events to educate on how to prevent crime and how to protect yourself.
Okay.
So I thrived on that,
Yeah.
and, there were some other volunteers there that said, oh, you should apply for the Citizens Crime Watch program at the Vancouver Police Department. You actually
Mm-hmm.
drive around and you're the eyes and ears in the community. You're looking for a stolen license plates, and, you're
And
calling the
this is a
police. Hmm.
and this is a voluntary position as well?
Yes. Nope. You're not getting
Okay.
paid for it. And it was only Friday, Saturday nights. Like I would work my day job and I would
Uh-huh.
go volunteer VPD from like 7 p.m. all the way to 1 in the morning.
Wow.
And I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And my family saw this change in me. They saw the passion when I would
Yeah.
talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And throughout
Yeah.
the 30 years, they could see sometimes I was delve into a bit of depression and I'd always
Okay.
say, I don't like my job. And,
Yeah.
they realized too. And, I think we as South Asian immigrants, we have to realize that we can't blame our families and parents for all of this because they
Yeah.
came from the village in India,
Mm-hmm.
a very suppressed
Mm-hmm.
society. They were young when they came. Their main
Yeah.
concern, like, can you imagine taking our kids to a new country? What would we
Oh
want to do? The
gosh.
first thing we'd want to do is protect them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I realized as I'm getting older, right?
Yeah. I was just going to say that between learning a new language,
Yeah.
securing a house, like,
Yes.
food, shelter, there's so much that they had to deal with that I think it made complete sense for them to say, get a stable job, get a
Yes.
job that's safe,
Yes. Yes.
That's what those times called for.
And finances, right? Finances was a
Yeah.
huge one.
Exactly. Financial stability was, key.
And also, we didn't have career choices and options like they do now for kids. They have so many, resources you can look up online.
Yeah.
So many options of more work experience and so forth. We didn't have that,
exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that had an impact as well, our choices.
So when you applied for the volunteer program and you started volunteering, you were working Fridays and Saturdays. When did the idea of actually changing your career and committing 100% to law enforcement come about?
My superiors, my colleagues, they saw my passion, my commitment. I took a team lead position within volunteering quite quickly. And my superior had asked me, they go, there's a special municipal program and you should apply for it. It's a constable position.
Okay.
And so I did right away. And there's a long process of, your physical, your written tests and so forth.
Okay.
That I had to take.
Did you know what the physical exam would entail?
I looked online, the videos, and I thought, okay, I could try and do this. I was 48 at the time.
Okay.
So.
And were you in good health? Were you in good, physical shape?
I was. I've always been always into my physical health. But when I went and tested it out, I went for practice sessions. I'm like, wow, this is very, very hard. It's hard for the 20-year-olds.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask because I've heard how demanding it is. I've from many people, how difficult this test is. And like you said, for 20-year-olds. And then at the age of 48 to go through this, what was that like?
Very difficult, very disheartening at times.
Can you describe what the test entailed?
So, there's a lot of hurdles going up, jumping over hurdles, going around the cone, going up and down stairs 9-10 times. Then going to a push-pull where you had to pull out 80 pounds and go around, push 80 pounds in, keep it held in. And keep in mind, this is all timed. You have to do this within 2 minutes and 49 seconds. From the push-pull, you have to run, do a push-up, jump, only using your hands touching the bar, 3-foot-high pull.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You jump it, a sit-up, jump it again, push up, jump it again 9 times.
Wow.
So if you complete that within 2 minutes, 49 seconds, you then have to carry an 80-pound beanbag across the room and back.
Oh my gosh, 80 pounds.
Yes. So.
Wow. That sounds daunting.
It's very daunting. And I, through the course of a couple of years, I failed it a couple of times, of course. My file was closed a couple of times because I had been trying. One scenario I have to tell you, and this is one of the obstacles I came across, was what people, the reaction you got from people. Why are you trying? You're a mother, you're 48, you've tried a couple of times. Why bother? I went for a practice session once and I had a South Asian male, young South Asian male, tell me, he goes, you've been trying for so long. Why bother? After I asked him for some tips.
Wow. Okay. You had asked for tips, not unsolicited advice.
Exactly. So I would get that from time to time.
Yeah.
In a way, okay, I took that, and that's one thing I learned. You take that criticism, good or
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
If it pushes you, drives you more to succeed, you do that. So I did that.
Yeah. Use it as ammunition.
Ammunition, yes. And I did later. I'll tell you that later. But
did you picture that guy's face saying,
yes,
telling you to not do this, and then just
yes,
really
and then
like
telling
work
him
out
I
even
made
harder?
it. So
he did you a favor.
yeah, exactly. But I didn't let on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a very good friend. She's a teacher, and she saw how disheartened I was when I failed the tests. So she was such, and that's another thing. You have to surround yourself with a lot of positive people when you're trying to pursue something. Yeah, I think that's really important because you're going to hear a lot of negative talk, especially in our South Asian community.
Yes.
I mean, we're brought up and we're so used to it, but it's just, it continues on. It doesn't matter how old you get, you're going to keep hearing it, right? So with my friend who helped me, I had another friend that helped me build a 3-foot high pole that I put in my backyard. Yeah. And my friend Susan would help me jump it. It'd be snowing, it'd be raining, didn't matter, rain or shine. We were out there jumping. Wow. I go to the track jyoti sometimes at 1 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. I was so frustrated about wanting to pass this just to increase my cardio.
Wow.
Didn't matter if it was the middle of the winter. I remember half the track was like slippery, but I'd only run half the track where it wasn't slippery.
As you were training and you're going out for your 1 a.m. runs, what was the biggest motivator for you?
It was my passion. If I want to do something I'm passionate about, I've been thinking about it for all these years. I'm not giving up.
Yeah.
And I had to believe. And what helped me really believe too was manifesting it, because throughout these years, I really delved into my spiritual self and thought energy is important, positive energy. Surround yourself with positive energy. I have to think with positive energy. So I had a vision board.
Okay.
That kept me going a lot. I cut out pictures of a woman in a police uniform. I cut out pictures of a woman jumping with big muscles, jumping a pole.
Okay. Yeah. And what else was on there?
I am a constable for the Vancouver Police Department.
Where did you put this vision board?
In my bedroom when I got up, right in front of my face, on my dresser.
Good. Yeah.
Looked at it every day, throughout the day. And I also journaled.
Okay.
I also wrote, I am a constable for the Vancouver Police Department.
You wrote this in your journal every day? Yes,
because I had to envision and think that I'm already in it. I had to think in the present. I am already in the uniform, in boots, walking the streets like I'm in law enforcement already. So that was what kept me going.
Okay.
So you really have to manifest your dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
The universe is going to bring to you whatever you want, right?
Yeah. You have to believe and then really do the work that it takes to get there.
It's not easy. It's not just going to come to you on a silver platter.
Exactly. Now, I can't help but think, aside from the physical difficulty of the exam, there's this mental component to it, because when you apply for something, you fail the physical exam and you have to, obviously it's crushing because you've gone through all this training, you've done this. And then you have to kind of pick yourself back up and keep going.
Yes, and it was difficult. So you really have to tune everything out. And honestly, the manifesting really kept me going. And, at that time, too, when I finally told my parents, look, this is what I'm doing, they were so happy and they encouraged me because they could see that's what made me truly happy. And my dad he'd go to the Gurdwara every day and he'd pray for me. He goes, I'm praying for you.
Aww.
It was so touching. I knew your parents love you. They care for you. They want what's the best for you. But you have to realize we protect our children, right?
Yeah, exactly. The 18-year-old you looking to get into law enforcement was very different from now the 48-year-old you.
Yes.
I think your parents must have definitely recognized that and taken you seriously. And ultimately, your happiness is their happiness.
Yes. And they were always and always have been and still are very supportive parents and forward thinking. But we're parents are parents. I'm like that with my son still, right? Very protective.
Exactly.
That's what you do.
Exactly.
You have to be there completely mentally to whatever you're pursuing as well, or trying to overcome any obstacles you come across. You think positive. It's very hard to do, though. It's easy for me to say, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But like one of the reasons you're doing these podcasts, I think it's very important to share a story like this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it really gives people the opportunity and the chance to really think about fulfilling their dreams.
Yeah.
And anything is possible. You have to believe. And I think that's the main thing that comes to my mind that kept me going, was belief that this is going to happen.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many women I've come across in their 30s, early 40s saying they're too old.
At 20, I thought 30 was old,
Yeah.
At 30,
exactly.
I thought 40 was old. Like, it's never too old. It's never too late.
Exactly.
For anything, not just your career, for any type of change in your life. I think it's important to acknowledge that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say, is that you're a great testament for that, because I think what you've gone through and the strategies that you employed can really be utilized for anything that's on your mind that you've been wanting to do.
And also, Jyoti, I think age in a South Asian community, as a woman in particular, age plays a big part. It has so many restrictions for us. Get an education by a certain age, get a good job by a certain age, get married by a certain age, and have kids by a certain age.
Yeah.
How restricting is that, right?
Well, if that's, but here's the funny part. If that's not enough, then it's, aren't you too old to be wearing the type of stuff you're wearing?
Exactly.
Should you really be wearing red lipstick at this age? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to wear red lipstick till the day I die.
Exactly. And you look beautiful in it. I'm looking at you right now in this podcast, in the video on my screen, and you look absolutely beautiful. You're wearing red lipstick. I say go for it. Yes.
Thank you.
I have to tell you a funny story. I just remember BB coming to me and saying, when are you going to get some children, right? Bring some children. And I'm like, okay, well, BB, tell me when there's a 2-for-1 sale at Walmart and I'll go get 2 babies. And she just looked at me and she didn't know what to say. And that clicked at that moment. I thought, yes, that's what I'm going to keep doing.
Yeah.
Any South Asian woman that goes through any kind of BB talk, just find some strategies. I maybe should write a book on some, comebacks.
I know. Clever responses.
Yeah. And just make it humorous, because you're going to always hear that, right?
Yeah, because I think there's just no filter when it comes to South Asians, like going up to people and just, giving unsolicited advice, making comments, making offhand comments that, and that's almost, I say this almost in every episode, that it's like a recurring theme, that all these harmless comments that are made that actually end up being quite harmful.
They are, especially when we were really young. Even more so, because that shapes who you are. That shapes the fears, the obstacles, and that was one of the things when I was trying to jump that pole. Oh my God, I could hear I can't do it, right?
But you persevered, you did it, and then you finally passed the exam. What was that like? I just want to know, what was the first thing that you thought of, or the first thing that you did after passing the physical exam?
To call my dad.
Okay, yeah.
My mom, at that point, unfortunately, she was diagnosed with dementia.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know, and that was very difficult, but my dad. The sole strength in our family that brought us girls up with independence, confidence, and, perseverance in a secure way, but they still did, right? And we have to really look at that and give our parents a lot of credit for bringing us to a new country and giving that to us.
Exactly. Exactly.
And not putting up with some shit, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I told him, and he said to me, Praveen, this is the happiest day of my life.
Oh,
And it was so touching. And then I
God
told
bless
my,
him.
obviously my son, my family, they were so happy. They told everybody else, and I got all these messages. So I was just so touched. And that was, this is feeling more so was, I was touched by the
Yeah.
people that really cared about my happiness, how
Yeah.
happy they were. Right. And being
Yeah.
in uniform and being sworn in as a constable, I also was commended by the chief of police for my perseverance, because I
Oh,
told him once when he told me you should apply was, Chief, I'm not there yet, but I'm not giving up. And he goes, I admire your tenacity.
oh, yeah.
So every time he sees me in a uniform, it's a smile on his face.
And think of how many people he must be sharing this story with, and how many people that actually inspires, right?
Yes, yes. And the women, especially the South Asian women in my circle of friends and family, how it inspires them
Yeah,
to inspire
exactly.
others as well. And I think that's another thing is we really have to, especially as women and, as a community, is help each other,
Yeah, yeah,
instead of the criticisms, give the positive
yeah.
energy, put it out there, because it really does. It's a domino effect. And I think that's one thing that sometimes we lack in our culture is spreading those positive vibes.
Yes. And to be honest with you, that's one of the primary reasons for this podcast. I've always felt that we need to uplift one another. And by sharing our stories, by sharing, obstacles that we've gone through, our experiences, we help others. We
Yes.
inspire others. We help validate their feelings. And in knowing that, if you're going through something, you're not alone. There are other women out there,
Yes.
And at the end of the day, I really do feel that we didn't come here to just live a merry life and go about our way.
Exactly. The feeling you get too when you help others.
Yeah.
Or you encourage
Exactly.
others. I feel great.
Yeah.
You're encouraged when you encourage others. It's a good feeling. So it's
Yeah,
only going to make you feel better.
Exactly.
And that positive energy you put out there comes back to you twofold.
It does. Yeah.
It's like seva in our culture, service to others. That service, seva, is not only just going to the gurdwara and serving. Seva is serving each other with good positive energy and support, right?
Absolutely, 100%. So tell me, what is your life like now? How do you feel about the choices that you've made?
I am 100% at peace. And I think that's a big thing, is you have to feel at peace with yourself, because you are the one that's in control of your life, not others. People can say things, can guide you, but you can't use them as your obstacle. You're your only obstacle. So you have to set that aside and go for it, right? Anything in
Ultimately,
life.
you're the driver.
Exactly. So you can never use, but they said I shouldn't do this. You have to just kind of go for your dreams, be happy, because for others, if you're happy, you're going to spread that. And you ultimately have to believe in yourself for that to happen. Right?
Yeah.
And it's difficult at times, of course. It takes time.
It is.
But again, it comes back to what we were saying. It's never too late.
Exactly.
Age is just a number.
It is, and you're proof of that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I would say the other amazing, you've always been into maintaining your physical health, but I would imagine having gone through the training for the physical exam and doing everything you had to do, you're probably even in better shape than you were.
Yes, of course, at this age, sometimes you do wake up with the soreness, it's a fact. Your body isn't the same as if you were 20. But, you should always stay physical, mentally and physically active.
Yes, both are important.
Both are important, to keep going and to have that energy too.
Yeah, I have enjoyed this conversation so much.
Me too.
I actually want to try the whole manifestation.
Yes.
I haven't created a vision board. I think I'm may have to contact you to get some tips on this.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? I have a group we used to be South Asian women's group. Back in the 90s, we started, and we did a lot of things in the community. But now we have this friendship base for 30 years. There's about 15 of us, and we get together every January and do a vision board for the year. So that's an idea for people out there, is make it fun. Get your group of friends together, have some wine, cheese, and cut out pictures, bring magazines, and create a vision board.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
So, Praveen, something I'd like to ask you. What do you think the golden biscuit of today's episode should be?
What comes to mind, Jyoti, is never give up. It's never too late, and don't stop believing in yourself. Any obstacles in life, so forth, don't let that get in the way. So I think that would be the golden biscuit, is just don't stop.
Yeah,
keep going.
No, I would agree 100%. What an inspiring story of courage and resilience you've shared.
Thank you.
You've shown us that, it's okay to put your dreams on hold for a while, but it's not okay to forget them. So, listeners, whatever your own personal dreams may be, big or small, I hope this episode gives you the strength to take just one step, no matter how small it is, towards making it a reality. And your healing journey begins the moment you decide that the calling you're hearing is worth the fight. With that thought, we'll be back next week. Thank you for listening to ROOH. We appreciate you joining us as we cultivate a community of strong, empowered women, one story at a time. If you or someone you know has a story you'd like to share, please contact us at roohdaraz@gmail.com. That's ROOHDARAAZ@gmail.com. Also, do us a favor and please share this podcast with your sisters, your mom, your friends, aunties, your eyebrow lady, like any lady you know. You get the idea. Till next time, kush raho, be well.